Now, LEGO has made Adventure Time sets before, but they were a bit underwhelming. There were 3 LEGO Dimension sets and 1 LEGO Ideas set made for the Adventure Time theme. Now we got some good figures out of them, but it's definitely not what the true fans wanted. So I took it upon myself to build the sets that we all deserved. So in this video, I'm going to showcase my LEGO Adventure Time collection that I've made up to this point. So I've been doing this for a few years now, so make sure to follow my Instagram and TikTok, which are linked below, to stay up to date with all my latest builds. And be sure to subscribe so you can see all my latest videos about my newest projects. And now with all of that out of the way, let's get to it. Starting with my first ever large scale LEGO build, Marceline's house. So this is where it all started. I knew I wanted to get to the bigger builds like the treehouse, but I wanted to start small just to begin with. Going into this build, I knew I wanted to do the theme justice. I wanted to make sure I got all the details correct, all the Easter eggs in there, and most importantly, just make sure it looked recognizable to the fans. After all, when I started this, I didn't have an Instagram, didn't have a YouTube channel, so I was doing this for myself. So I just wanted it to be perfect for me. That being said, I definitely had troubles with this build, which came to be bigger problems with my larger projects. Specifically, the outside of the house did not match the proportions of what was meant to be inside it. How could this small house have a whole second story in there? So as you can see from the photos, the roof can come off and it does show the bottom floor perfectly with all the details you would expect there. The kitchen, the living room, the famous couches and all of that. Now to get the second story in there, that was where the problems came up. I ended up making an insert for that second floor, which had all the details that were needed there, but also could fit into the build when the roof was on. And then when I wanted to reveal the bottom floor, it could just lift up out of the build. So this whole process took me, I would say, about 4 or 5 months to do. This was my first ever build. I was doing it all by hand, without all the pieces that I needed. I'm extremely happy with how it turned out. And it gave me the confidence to step up to a much larger, more complex build, which ended up being Finn and Jake's treehouse. Now, I definitely overestimated my abilities here. The amount of complexities that came from this build, especially with the whole proportions issue again and all the complex angles going into the base of it, it was just a nightmare to begin with. Now, this project took me the whole of 2023 to complete. There was definitely time in there where I was overcoming motivation issues because it was so complex. But most importantly, I got there in the end. Now I can definitely do a whole video here breaking down how I went through the whole process of building this. And if that's something you guys want, make sure to leave a comment below asking for it. The other stress in the back of my mind while building this was I applied to actually display this and Marceline's house at a LEGO convention in January of 2024, so it had to be done. Surprisingly to me, I ended up finishing this around November-December of 2023. And that's when I posted this final build onto the Adventure Time Reddit. And then that's when things started changing for me. Straight after posting this, I was asked by the famous LEGO channel Beyond the Brick to make a short video for them so they can post on their YouTube channel, which you can see playing in the background here. And after that, at the LEGO exhibition, the famous LEGO blogger, Jay's Brick Blog, ended up making a video of my treehouse and posting it on their socials. And this is when things started blowing up for me. That video ended up getting 16 million views. And during that time, that's when I made my Instagram account, Turchy Bricks. The treehouse is definitely my favourite build I've ever made. It holds a special place in my heart and it actually still sits in the hallway of my house. I still don't know how I was able to recreate this iconic build so accurately out of LEGO. But I'm glad all the fans actually appreciated it as well. It wasn't just something that I kept to myself, it actually made it out there on the internet for everyone to see. So once all of that was over, I had my Instagram running. I was eager to build something new, so I could share with everyone as I was going. So I decided to take on the Candy Kingdom. This was a beast of a build, which I definitely underestimated going into it, but I knew it was going to be big anyway. It ended up being around 38,000 pieces and it took the whole year of 2024 to complete. I actually made a weekly series which I posted on Instagram and TikTok, being able to showcase where I was with the build, my design decisions and everything going into this. Something I decided straight away to do differently was to make it all digital on a program called Bricklink Studio, where similar to Minecraft, I could just build whatever I wanted with any legs, any colors that I wanted. And at the end, it showed me a part list that I could use to buy the pieces I needed. Now this build is what I'll definitely say I'm most famous for. My reveal video for this ended up blowing up online, still being my most viewed reel on my Instagram today. This video was showcased by so many different LEGO accounts, including Beyond the Brick once again. But most importantly of all, Cartoon Network actually posted this build and my treehouse on their own Instagram account. And to top it all off, Adventure Time actually posted this build on their Facebook. It's definitely heartwarming knowing that I put so much effort into all these builds and it actually gets noticed by the creators and the show itself. Even though there was incredible response to this build, the process of building something this big actually left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. While the Candy Kingdom was still in development, I needed to take breaks because it was just so big. So in the meantime, I was actually building Adventure Time brickheads. I know many people have done LEGO Adventure Time brickheads before, but I wanted to put my own spin on it. I did this by designing the brickheads in a way that LEGO would also do, matching all their proportions and everything else that comes with it. I ended up making 12 of these guys over the year, but my favorite is definitely Flame Princess. While making these, I had that feeling at the back of my head that I really enjoyed this. I was able to create such iconic characters in such a small size as well. I was able to maintain the detail and accuracy of what these characters look like without sacrificing too much. And most importantly to me, it didn't take a year to design. It didn't take that much planning. And then most importantly, it didn't cost that much to actually produce this product at the end of it. That's when I made the decision that my next build after the Candy Kingdom was going to be much smaller, but also maintain the level of detail that I'm known for. So that's when I started building my Micro World series. I was heavily inspired by LEGO architecture builds and their new models that they've been doing, such as the mini Millennium Falcons and everything else that looks nice on a nice display stand that can sit inside your house without looking too out of place. Another factor going into this was a lot of fans were asking for instructions for these massive builds I was doing, and that was definitely unreasonable for me. These instructions would take hours on hours, if not months or years to produce. So at least now, if I design something smaller, I can package it in a way where it's designed for instructions. So the outcome of all of this were 4 micro builds that I've been doing throughout the whole of 2025. I've had a lot of fun building these, trying to fit as many details as I can into such small spaces and try to recreate these iconic locations. Especially when comparing to their larger counterparts, you can see that these small builds still hold all the details necessary to make these still recognizable. Just like the larger models, my favorite build here is the treehouse. This is definitely a theme I want to keep going into the future. Continue to make Adventure Time micro builds to expand the whole world. And because they're so small, it won't take a whole year to build these things. I can actually pump out quite a few in a year. And I might have a few non-Adventure Time surprises coming along the way with this theme as well. So that brings us up to today. I'm currently in the process of building a large Enchiridion to hold all of those micro builds together into a nice large display. One last thing I want to mention before wrapping this all up is LEGO Ideas. I've been asked by so many people to post all of these builds on LEGO Ideas, even I wanted to at first, but sadly I can't. And the reason for that is LEGO Ideas actually has a rule that if a theme has been approved before, it cannot be approved again. So that one LEGO Adventure Time set that was actually produced has blocked me from being able to post any of my new builds on there as well. I know it's sad, but I'm still continuing to make these builds, not just for myself, but for all the fans out there. So here's where I need some help from you guys. I know I said these smaller builds are quicker to do, but it's not like I can produce them weekly. So I need some filler content for this channel. So let me know if you want to see some Q&As, if you want to see breakdowns of some of my older projects. Just leave a comment below with what you'd like. And make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram, the links are below. That's where I post all my new photos and reels, everything there will be the most up to date from me. And make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos. And now I just want to say thank you to everyone. If you're a new fan or if you've been here since I created my Instagram account, thank you. I wouldn't be here trying to post new content for everyone without all of your support throughout this whole process. And that's all. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.